Hello and welcome to the Online Creators Association's Thursday night live stream, where I've just discovered that the TOCA TikTok account no longer has access to green screen. It's okay. I lost it like a week or two ago, and now I have it back with a different layout. So I think that they are rolling out updates to the live stream interface, and for some reason they have a stage in there where they just take features away for a little bit.
Cool. I love that. Speaking of rolling things out, some good news for the first time ever. That's not true, but good news for the first time in a long time. People appear to be getting playlists at a lower follower count than 50,000.
Yeah, it seemed like maybe 10,000.
Maybe.
Let's see.
10,000 might be the new barrier.
I'm looking for. Some people said that they didn't have it.
I mean, I remember seeing one
9K for months, and I don't have it yet. Us Logies under 10K still don't have them. So yeah, a couple people in the server have said that they don't have them and that they are under 10K.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So I mean, good news. Playlists are happening. They're rolling out farther. And I mean, I honestly feel like for smaller accounts in a lot of ways, because while you're still finding what you want to do and trying to build up an account, having playlists is so fundamental to directing people to the content they want to see and figuring out what you're going to do. That I'm thrilled that they're rolling it out for smaller accounts is what I'm saying. It's really, really, it's good for your followers to be able to figure out the things that you do and like to do. Small, can we not be violently itching ourselves? Thank you so much. Good job, bud. Hello.
I just realized something that was. This is entirely not information that anybody needs, but remember when I discovered that your favorites folder has a cap of 100 videos?
Yeah.
I kept thinking that I was noticing that other people had a higher cap or had figured out some way to get more money or more videos into their favorites folders. My brain is not working today. I was mentally conflating playlists and favorites. I can't see other people's favorites folders.
Good. Excellent. We're off to a great start.
Yeah. Shit.
Oh God.
Are you looking at the Discord?
No, why?
I announced that we were live to the wrong channel.
Oh God. Okay, so this is the problem right now, is that there's only 2 whole brain cells between us. And it doesn't feel like either of us we either have 2 or 0 in this moment. Okay. Well, we're live, kids.
Starlight Falls. Yeah, I started by just sorting all of my favorites into folders that said unsorted A, unsorted B, unsorted C, and so on. And then started going through those folders and sorting them into new favorites folders. Because there are too many in there to sort any other way.
I understand that I am absolutely in the minority for people, generally speaking, when it comes to favoriting things, but I only favorite things where it's this is a perfect video, and it makes me laugh every single goddamn time I watch it, and I go back and clean out my favorites if the joke has not held up for me and I don't find it funny anymore. They're eternal videos, and I probably only have 200. I know this is not how everyone uses them, and I know people save things because they really just want it for later, or this is a useful thing. But No, I'm very, very selective. I like literally everything, but I favorite so few things. Michael, how are we doing today? 2 whole brain cells. We are
2
absolutely.
is a high estimate of the number of brain cells in this call right now.
You telling me I have the only one and we have to share it this evening? Because that feels very difficult. Also, like, how am I doing? I'm using a Hamilton mug in the year of our Lord 2022, because I'm out of all other mugs.
Stream notification still said charity when it was sent to my phone. Thank you for reminding me. I haven't fixed that. I'm gonna just fucking go and do that now.
One brain cell. One brain cell this evening. How are we doing?
I have no idea where that is. Amelia changed it last time.
We'll ask Amelia. We'll ask. She has more brain cells than we do.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. We can't fix it now. Too late. Welcome to the charity D&D stream, kids. That's exactly what we're doing. What we are actually doing this evening is we're going to do some additional work on making more resources. And this one's going to be how to not get doxxed. We can't do it on the scale of from me to fellow Tokamot Arget because that's not useful in the long run. But for the purposes of this stream, we are probably going to go back and forth between the 2 extremes of me and Arget.
All right, so I am just getting a text document set up because I am not confident in my ability to simultaneously lay out a document and think about what should go in it.
Yeah. So smart. I mean, listen.
Michael, like, the first thing is not a variable people have control over, but the second thing is, yeah, the advice.
It is the advice. I mean, the sort of going off of the people that I know personally that do a very, very good job of actually protecting themselves. It always starts with not using your goddamn real name as your username, not referring to yourself by your username. Don't put it as your nickname. Creating a different person online, especially because it is your face on TikTok, is so vital. Did I do that? No. It's my first mistake.
I have told the whole internet my real name, but I haven't told the government.
We were talking about this scale of like me having my whole ass personal identifying, like all of my information is just out there, all the way over to Arget, whose real name I did not learn until like at least 3 months into knowing her. And then there's Watson who, like, yeah, technically, are they protecting themselves? Yes. But is this like a plottable point on the line of like, just change your name and don't tell the government? No, like that's not advice we can give out.
I mean, it's pretty good advice for trans people. Just like, don't worry about like the sequence of characters the IRS uses to tax you being the same thing your friends call you.
I condone it. I 100% condone it. I'm just saying that that's not like feasible advice for most people when they're just like trying to keep themselves safe online. What does it say? No, we can't. Here's the thing. We can absolutely put it on there as a joke, but it's not. Just abandon having a legal name. There has to be, you do have to put some distance between yourself and your like internet self and talking about precisely where you live.
Michael said, "Don't have any identifying logos." What do you mean by that?
Like work logos,
Ah,
because that has been a thing I've been very, very, very militant about for a long time. When you're walking around outside, if you're in your own neighborhood, catching street signs or business names in the background, that's a big one. That was not one that I had even thought about. I was always really careful to not show street names. I think I showed a business name once, and someone tried to find me based on that. So people are wild. Ugh. And like landmarks, depending on where you are, again. Like I am lucky in that I live in New York City, and there's always going to be a certain amount of like separation between me and being able to find me if you don't know the specific neighborhood I'm in. Oh God, please cover your labels on unboxing videos. Yeah. This is maybe a wild one, but if you wear glasses, just be sure that like you can't see like your email or an address or anything like that, credit card information, anything like that reflected in the glasses when you're filming. Oh, yeah. Personal info does include license plates, which people seem to forget all of the time. And if you're on somewhere, if you're on vacation somewhere or you're out doing something somewhere that's like a recognizable place, you need to post it after you leave. Do not be posting it while you are there. Don't you tell me my battery's running low. Windows.
so one of the things that I definitely think we need to talk about here is making fairly conscious and deliberate decisions about the extent to which you tend to be you intend to be visible.
Yeah.
Because like some of this stuff, like make sure that your school, like you don't wear a sweater with your school logo. Make sure to avoid making street signs visible. If you're like blogging about being a college student and you're saying what college you're at, like,
Oh, I know. I mean, this was like a whole thing with God, a million years ago, there was someone who was doing a lot of content about being at SUNY Albany.
mm-hmm.
And I knew it was SUNY Albany because I could see the fucking campus in the background. But like the amount of danger that she put herself in doing that was pretty high, and she sort of figured out the ways in which she could talk about being where she was without ever like revealing like her actual major or like what classes she was in or what building she was going to be at.
Hmm.
It had to be very, very, very calculated, and she did seem to sit down and figure it out after a while.
Starlight Falls, thank you for that one.
Oh yeah,
That's info on pet.
I've got that from myself. I got phone numbers on those tags.
But yeah, and then there's stuff like if you're on vacation somewhere, the question like post about it after you leave. That is one end of the spectrum of like the extent to which you can be private on vacation. And the other end of that spectrum is organizing a meetup in the place you're going to be. And like both of those are things creators may want to do. We need to be making a scale that like anybody can look at and decide and like interpret for themselves rather than find something that's like, well, I would never do that, so that doesn't apply to me. Yeah. We want to be communicating the ways to use this information to make this spectrum of choice so that people who don't intend to be maximally serious about avoiding doxing still see the things like, hey, your address might be on your pet's collar.
Yeah. So it's less if you're on vacation somewhere, post about it after you leave. It's more if you're on vacation somewhere or around significant landmarks or that kind of thing. Think about when you are posting it. If you are having a meetup there, that's sort of one thing. I like organizing safe meetups is the scariest thought for me. Stop. Hi. Yup. Public space, do not go alone. Do not ever go alone. Like minimum security still includes do not go to a meetup alone. And yeah, have clear boundaries about when it starts, when it ends. As well as clear boundaries about like what's happening there. It is in fact safer to just not do them, but if you're gonna do them, please be safe. Thinking about like clear boundaries about what's happening at the meetup. It might seem a little contrived to do like a schedule of events. But even if you are the only person with that schedule of events, it will help you like keep the boundaries on like, okay, we are doing this now. We are having this appropriate interaction. We're having this appropriate interaction, and now I am leaving. Because that was how we handled just when I was working for Viacom. Was often with the meetups, they had like these sort of like we helped run some like 30-minute meetups with some people that were mostly just like Twitter famous. And the participants were not given a schedule of events, but the the people that like were the subject of the meetup were. And that helped them tremendously just like navigate the weirdness of meeting somebody you've never met, but who has like a very lopsided relationship with you already. And also makes it so that there is an out. Like there's a way to say like, and now I'm going on to the next thing. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You could just not do those. Like that's like a whole thing. And you can make that sound as important as you want. Like there is nothing stopping you from saying like, yep, I actually have to go because I need to get on a call with my agent or my manager. You do not need to have one of those.
But also, like having a call with your manager right after the meetup is probably a good idea.
If you have one of those, you should do that.
And if you don't have a manager, your mom, or your partner,
your friend,
your dentist,
anybody, to schedule a call. The person that is coming with you, if you are like having a meetup, it should absolutely be somebody who is not afraid to intervene or say no on your behalf. Like Watson, if you were having a meetup, I would be a good friend to come with because I do not care about what anyone thinks of me.
Mm.
Oh, yes. This one, checking old accounts for like identifiable info or old posts for identifiable info. That's how people found me on Facebook early on. Weird ass shit. I know that once I started getting people following me, I did go back and just delete everything old on my Twitter. It did not matter what it was. I just put it out because I didn't want to have to go through all of the stuff. And I simply do not think there is any shame in saying like, I actually don't know if I've like tweeted out something that could lead to somebody finding me or like, posted something on Instagram that could lead to somebody finding me. I don't think there's any shame in just saying like from here on back, I delete everything. It's gone. There are services that are genuinely good that you can pay money to actually go back and clean everything out for you and just wipe the internet of your presence. They are not cheap. They are like $500. Have I seriously considered it? Yes. I did, in fact, use a free web app that did it for me on Twitter.
Yeah, me too. I had it set to just rolling delete of everything that was 3 months old.
Fair.
And then eventually I just privated that Twitter, changed it to TXWatson_locked, and made a new TX Watson Twitter for public.
Yeah, there's also no shame in starting a new public account.
Mm.
Because that's what I did with Instagram. I turned my regular Instagram into this is friends and family only, and there's like 100 whole people that follow me on there. And then my public facing Instagram where you can see whatever I want to post there. Hi, small. But my friends and family one is on full lockdown.
Mm.
You cannot access me there. Hi. You're causing problems on purpose, bud.
Yeah, the thing I like about having a public Twitter that is separate from my personal Twitter is that I just went through and like refollowed on the new account anybody I could think of a specific professional reason to refollow, and no one else. So now I don't have like 50 to 100 people I'm mutuals with on that account who I don't like or want to be associated with anymore.
So nice.
Which is also not true on the private one because I soft blocked like 2/3 of the people who followed me.
Wonderful.
But you know, I probably said this on live before, but I started using TikTok because I got so fed up with Twitter that I started one day I just muted everybody who was talking about a particular piece of new drama and realized I'd muted more than half of the people I followed. So then I uninstalled Twitter. And then like 2 days later, I installed TikTok because I can't be left alone with my thoughts.
Yes. Good. Excellent. Very healthy.
I mean, it was a good professional decision.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but there are paid for services. I actually don't know if Abby Richards has talked about the one that she used in particular publicly, but I know she's recommended them in the past. If you are somebody that is dealing with like news, with current events, with politics, with general advocacy of any kind, that's the point at which you should maybe consider getting some paid for services because those are the most dangerous positions to be in on the internet.
Can you repeat that list?
No. Politics, advocacy of any kind. Oh yeah, reporting or just current events in general. And the thing to note is that if you are BIPOC, if you are a woman, if you are openly queer, your chances of getting doxxed, even if you are not dealing with any of these things, they're much higher. Always. Yeah. The most oppressed class.
I mean, you say that, but like, wasn't the guy whose picture was the PogChamp picture like an open Trump supporter? I think.
Like, wasn't that the reason they took it down?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact thing. I feel like it might have been the January 6th insurrection that like came out
God.
and then Twitch took the emoji away.
Oh no. I feel like changing it to a lizard was also not like the best move.
What
Okay.
that lizard is?
Is that who is this? This tiny little man.
I have seen that lizard a lot on Twitch. I did not know that that was the new Pog champ.
Oh no. I'm not on Twitch enough. I don't know things.
I feel like it should just be Pac-Man. Because, like,
right?
the chomp kind of like champ, and then also Pac-Man looks like a Pog.
I understand this and I am on the same wavelength. I was gonna say, the other note is that if you are a member of a marginalized group and you have opinions on anything that is vaguely related to pop culture, you are also in a very, very dangerous area.
Hmm.
And I don't know how to include you'll get death threats for the wildest shit. You really will. Truly, you need to take a moment and assess how unhinged is this fandom in this moment. It is the reason I don't talk about Star Wars, even though I love Star Wars. And I don't talk about Star Trek because the Star Wars fans get very weird about Star Trek. And I'm tired. What is this list?
Rank of unhinged.
No, because the Super Hulakians don't exist anymore. And if we want to talk about unhinged and Super Hulak, then we're talking about the John Locke conspiracy people. Because that's a whole subgroup.
Yeah, but like there are also sane Star Wars fans. Like it's always about the subgroups.
No, I know that, but I'm saying Super Hulak as a group doesn't exist as a force anymore. Like currently. You can't put these things that don't exist anymore.
We can use historical examples.
Yeah, Marvel needs to be on there fully.
Is Marvel 4 or 5?
I would put Marvel at like 4. Historical examples, Super Hulak. Yeah, the adult Harry Potter fans, when you say things, there is still a large subset that cannot hear what you are saying. But it's probably, having dealt with them, the worst of them, it's probably closer to a 5. I feel like Star Wars is so far up. Is Star Wars the worst?
Probably. I feel like Star Wars just being the only entry on 5 makes sense.
Of like increasing intensity. I think the Marvel Bros and the DC Bros are all sort of on the same level. I think we can put Disney adults at like 3.
Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah. Where it's like they do not want to hear anything, but a lot of the time it's relatively harmless.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of a Disney adult doxing someone.
Oh, I have.
Like, I'm not surprised that it's happened, but like, I think the fact that I haven't heard of it suggests like the frequency is low compared to Harry Potter or Star Wars, where like I have heard of it, even though I'm not really in any fandom spaces.
Trang was for one of our panelists who was on our Fact Creators panel, was actually doxxed by a full-blown like 40-something-year-old adult man who called her a little communist. And she was like, I don't know, man. Sometimes I just think I should question how much money I give Disney every year. Like, that was pretty much the gist. Oh, World War II buffs. They're frightening. I don't trust them. They're always very into the Nazis.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like who's not super intense. Like, is this a list of like hinged to fully unhinged, or is this lightly unhinged to fully unhinged?
I mean, like, I think working our way down makes sense. Like, starting with the most unhinged we can think of, and then just like trying to figure out like what is less hinged, like what is a more hinged fandom than the Disney adults.
I don't know anymore.
Starlight Falls, do you know any Garfield fans? Like, I know fans of I'm Sorry, Dave.
It's fine. Put it on there.
I think Undertale is probably around a 3.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like the other major fan spaces that exist.
Honestly, let's put. I have never heard of a Garfield fan hurting somebody for any reason.
That's fair.
And actually, while we're on that level, I think probably 2 is the Beatles.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair.
I will say for the record, the things that I am putting at level 2 hinged is literally just the fandoms my aunt is in.
That's wonderful. I will say is as someone whose mother is from the hometown of Judy Garland, people do get very intense about the Wizard of Oz in some very weird ways. Yeah, I'm thinking of them as like categories of storm, Michael, of like a category 5 fandom storm is always started by the fucking Star Wars fandom. That's how this is going in my head. What did you just Google?
Usually causes no significant structural damage. Category 2 often damages roofing material, may inflict damage on poorly constructed doors and windows. Category 3 and higher are described as major hurricanes. These storms can cause some structural damage to small residences and utility buildings, particularly those of wood frame or manufactured materials with minor curtain wall failures. Category 4 hurricanes tend to produce the more extensive curtain wall failures with some complete structural failure on small residences. And Category 5 is the highest category. These storms will cause complete roof failure on many residences and industrial buildings, and some complete building failures with small utility buildings blown away. Okay, so that's not the scale I'm thinking of. It might be the tornado scale that I'm thinking of. But the one of the scales, the highest level, is just defined as maximum, like nothing is left. And so like it's not like people talk about like there being higher levels, but like there is no higher level, because like no matter how much worse the storm gets, the scale measures how much is left afterwards. So once you're at 5, the storm can't get more 5.
It can't. Okay, it can't get more. No, it cannot get more 5.
There can't be less than nothing left.
Yeah.
So like Star Wars, cryptocurrency, World War II, those are on the level of fandoms trying to destroy the world.
Yeah. To be honest, a little bit. Again, I understand that, like, me saying like the Star Wars fandom is like me making the joke of like I'm going to unalive every Star Wars fan, including myself, to like put us all out of our misery is like a very extreme joke to make. However, the Star Wars fandom is the fandom that bullied one of the actresses in the movies off of all social media platforms, and it was so bad that she basically got written out of the last movie. Like, that is like, nothing can beat that. Nothing ever beats that.
They also bullied the company into firing the director who wrote one of the movies and fully changing the plot of the trilogy.
They deserve better.
I was so excited for the third movie after watching The Last Jedi. It was my favorite Star Wars movie. And then they fired him. I was like, oh, they don't have a plan. And then I was like done with Star Wars.
They don't have a plan. The most cathartic movie watching experience of my life was when I saw Cats 2019 in theaters with friends. The second most cathartic movie watching experience of my life was seeing the Rise of Skywalker. I couldn't remember the movie title for a second. Rise of Skywalker in theaters. And when Poe says, not as Poe, but really as Oscar Isaac, just reading the line deadpan, somehow Emperor Palpatine has returned. And everyone in the theater at the Alamo Drafthouse in Brooklyn started laughing. And like we were so done with the movie by that point that we were like, you know what? This might as well fucking happen too, I guess. That was my experience with it. What a bad fucking movie. All right.
This is not an even remotely related story, except for the fact that it's about something that happened in a movie theater. But
yeah.
That just reminded me of, I was really into the Matrix trilogy when they were coming out.
Yeah.
And my little brother was not. But the whole family would go to the movies because my dad did carpets for the movie place we went to. So they would invite us to like the day before screenings when all of like the friends of the owner would come and watch the movies. So we'd go to the screenings, and like at the end of the final Matrix movie, and I like at this point recognized that what was happening was I was struggling to maintain suspension of disbelief because I wanted to like the movie because I cared about it, but it wasn't good. And so like I was really struggling to like stay in it and to be feeling something. And there's that scene near the end where Neo has lost his ability to see, and he's like going to the Machine City, and he's just like seeing the electricity, like feeling the electricity, and he's walking on like this path of electricity toward the robot city. And my little brother just goes quietly under his breath, "I'm walking on sunshine." I was so mad at the time, but like in retrospect, that was the funniest possible way to react to that scene.
He could have done.
Yeah.
This is a stroke of comic genius. It's incredible. The fact that I can picture it in my mind as well is really beautiful because I know exactly what scene from The Matrix you're talking about right now. No, we can't go on a Matrix tangent.
This is not that. I'm curious if I'm Googling how to Garfield ever dox anyone. Yeah, I mean, Garfield fandom docs doesn't appear to bring anything up.
Well, great job, Garfield fandom.
Like, because I have seen, like, I've seen Super Eye Patch Wolf's video about the Garfield fandom. The Garfield fandom is a truly terrifying beast, but not violent to reality.
What the fuck? Okay, we're gonna revisit this later when we're off stream, and you're gonna me where I watch this. I am now. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not reconsidering where Harry Potter is because it doesn't do that anymore. But
yeah, I think
the history of it is wild.
I think actually Undertale belongs at a lower level for similar reasons to the Garfield fandom. Like, I'm sure the Undertale fandom has done some shit, but like, it's so big and so harmless for its size.
Do we? Okay, my question. I think. Okay, one. I think the Hamilton fandom needs to be put somewhere because of that incident on Tumblr with the person who was like claiming to be living in whatever country and also claiming to be living with AIDS.
I feel like that's a 3.
That's like a 3.
Like, there exist truly unhinged people in that fandom, and they will do bad things to the world, but they mostly do bad things to each other. And like, I know a lot of people who have a lot of critiques of Hamilton. I've never heard of somebody getting doxxed for having critiques of Hamilton.
Oh, that's interesting because they have.
Okay, should they be 4?
I think they can stay where they are because it's pretty dormant at this point. So this is my like personal experience with it aside, because my friend's boyfriend was in Hamilton, and people were very weird to him in public to the point where he just stopped being able to go out in public. But like the number of people that the doxing was mostly being done by and to teenagers who had no real nothing to lose from being doxed. And it was very, very strange. But it's died down to the point where we're at like a 3. Like there are still people. How bad was the Voltron? Here's the thing. I don't know anything about Voltron. I've purposely stayed away from it. Is this one something I should look into for myself for fun? And 2, like how bad was it? Fans of the Joker. Oh wait, DC. Do we have DC bros?
We have Marvel and DC both at level 4.
That's about right. Now I'm gonna have to look into the Voltron fandom. Oh, yeah, correct. Absolutely fucking correct. Oh.
I thought of another let me know if you think this is wrong, but I do think Shakespeare fans are basically harmless.
They're actually some of the only good people I've met on the internet.
Like, I know historically,
really
worse, but
it's contentious. There's a lot of fighting. Like I've gotten into fights with people that
there was that time when those two actors were both playing the same character in theaters on the same street on the same night, and the fans of their respective performances started a riot afterwards because their rivalry was that strong. But that was like the early 1900s.
Yeah. It was a good time. They were just having fun. Just like goofy mood. Yeah, at this point, I do feel the Shakespeare fandom is pretty tame. I have gotten into arguments, but no one's ever been doxxed. I keep hiccuping.
I will say the Shakespeare fandom tries its absolute best to dox Shakespeare constantly.
I will dox that man. I will get to the bottom of it. I just really feel like that is a whole video in and of itself. I gotta work the joke out, but it's in there. I feel like Al could do it.
Doxing historical poets.
We're gonna find their true identity. God damn it. No. Okay.
Alan Kay later.
Absolutely. We have to move past this because we've gotten bogged down in this and not the actual resource.
That is a good point.
There's not enough brain cells here today.
Difficulty. We got at least 2 examples for each level.
Yeah.
So any other considerations for like what you should be thinking about when thinking how worried should I be about getting doxxed?
How often you talk about your identity and how it relates to how you interact with the world, that will inevitably, I think that needs to be like a subset of that. Yeah. Because thinking about like Micah, who is openly Jewish, but does not talk about Judaism and being Jewish all that often, in part because of how shitty it is when she does talk about it. But like the more often you talk about it, the more risk you are often putting yourself at, like, for being doxxed. That is not to say do not talk about it. That is to say consider making yourself harder to find the more you talk about it.
There is also some advice that I want to get on the advice list section before we're out of here, which is your blocked terms list is your friend. On any platform where you have commenters, blacklist any terms you don't want them to be able to spam in your comments. Your full name, your phone number, home address, parents' address, social security number. Anything else?
A job, school. What else do I have in there? I have my neighborhood in mind, which, like, if you live in a major metropolitan area that does things like New York City does, where it's you're really locating people by neighborhood itself. Put your neighborhood in there and just say you live in the borough you live in. People can't find me when I say I live in Queens, but if I said I lived in my neighborhood, it would be a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm. Maybe something like how you interact with your viewers. I don't care how to phrase this, but what I'm thinking, like fans view you as someone they personally know. This is really hard. Trying to figure out like how to build healthy boundaries in parasocial relationships is, I would argue, an unsolved problem.
It is an unsolved problem. The boundaries that I have drawn have not always been the right ones. I have certainly made fucking mistakes, like allowing people to tag me in whatever for so long. And it is also something that, like, you have to feel it out for yourself as well. If you are somebody who makes things on the internet, part of what TikTok is good at is it is a parasocial relationship, like, expediter. Like, you start feeling things for people on TikTok like almost instantaneously. And that's part of making things on the internet in general.
TikTok is the only platform where I like see videos from people and like have a moment where I forget that I'm not actually friends with that person.
Every time I speak to someone that I have followed on TikTok, like in real time, feels very bizarre because I know it's the first time I'm meeting them, but I cannot tell my brain that it is the first time I'm meeting them.
Yeah.
But having thinking about what you can and cannot handle and being really honest with yourself. Like, and Michael bringing this up, like the contours of the current feelings of most of your followers, having a sense of who is interacting with you most And does the way they interact with you look healthy? And like healthy is such a subjective term, and yet at the same time, I think every single person who makes things on the internet has been able to look at like one or two specific followers in like recent or not so recent history and say like, oh yeah, no, that person was not in a great place, and I maybe needed to pull them out of there. Yeah. And also thinking about, again, what information you're comfortable having out in the world, and getting rid of the people that, as often as you say this is a boundary, do not respect the boundary. Like, there is no punishment for blocking somebody. There is no punishment for removing a follower. And sometimes removing the follower is a lot less jarring than the block. Sometimes removing the follower means that they have time to figure their shit out, and they'll never bother you again, or they'll come back around when they're okay. And sometimes blocking a person means they will come and seek you out on other platforms, which is absolutely unhinged behavior. It happens to me all the time. I did have someone go as far as becoming a Patreon patron at the highest tier after they had been blocked on all social media platforms to continue arguing with me. Thank you for the money, though.
Reasons my highest tier is over $2,000.
I know. Someday it's gonna happen.
It also doesn't come with rights. You don't even get into the Discord if you do that one.
Actually, Michael, this is a really, really good one. That when you're in public with friends, if you are friends with other people that make things on social media and put things out on the internet and are TikTokers, you don't have control over what they are releasing about you. So having the uncomfortable conversation beforehand is a big deal. And I've had to have this uncomfortable conversation with my real life friends. And it has made me feel a lot better overall, because I'm not gonna lie, I have had real life friends just be like, hey, I'm pulling out my phone to make a TikTok with my famous friend and I'm gonna tag you in it. Like, no, they will know where I am. There's 268,000 people who follow me who will now know where I am. It does get weirder as you get more people following you, because there are moments of like, the famous friend, and that can never be the mood of anything going on. That can never ever be happening. And if that is happening, that is maybe not a good friend. I cut people off for that at this point. Ugh. So I did a thing, speaking of bots, as we're like rounding it out, I did a thing that I was advised to do, where I contacted TikTok in a form, like on a report form of like, hey, I think I have a high number of bots following me. Can you clear out my account of those bots or inactive accounts? And I dropped, I don't know when it happened, but I dropped 300 followers approximately. And then it sort of popped back up like over the intervening weeks. So just so you know, if you have like inactive accounts or bots following you, TikTok might actually clean that out for you because it seems that that is what's happened with my account. Which is nice.
Can I just ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why is that something creators care about?
Because it affects your engagement rates.
Ah,
Like if I have like the number of followers that I have, and if only 75% of my followers are active at any one given time, one, I'm not going to really be able to have a good grasp on how much interaction I can expect something to get. And two, the more like inactive accounts are following, the worse the number is going to get. Like it's like with older accounts, they have 1 million followers, but 500,000 of them are like inactive, they left the platform, whatever. It doesn't look good if you're only getting like 25% engagement rates. But really, you just want to clean out the inactive stuff. That's it. I just want to know exactly how many people are following me at any one given time.
Yeah, I think we got a good amount done tonight. We've got material to work with. I think we may be leaning more towards like PowerPoint presentation than infographic here.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we're working on trying to get the resources we've been meaning to get together for a while now together. And this was a really productive session towards that. Thanks everybody for coming. I am going to sign off now. I did recently learn actually that I can set up a video that I can just have play on here that will like we won't be audible or visible while it's playing. So like I could use that for an outro so that when I do the outros, like it won't be that really abrupt, just like I said bye and then this call ended. That I do really like doing, that is really funny to me, but like will at least communicate that the line wasn't like cut, that like the ending is happening the way it's supposed to, but we don't have that set up right now, so bye.